The Taiwanese manufacturing and IT industries are filled with a lot of very talented people that flourish internationally, though not often in software. I wanted to do something for the software industry in Taiwan, so I established TPI Software.
Focusing on trust and guaranteeing high quality, Ben wants the Taiwanese software industry to succeed on an international stage. For this reason, TPI Software began to build enterprise software systems for financial and insurance companies. Following international trends, the company also offers open banking solutions, and it has set a new goal of industrial development.
The core concept of open banking is to take the information you have provided to every single bank and authorizing third-party operators to use it. To give an example, I can have several credit cards from different banks, then use a third-party service that gathers all my credit card information in a single place so I can see which credit card bill has not been paid, which bills are overdue, and so on. This is very convenient for me.
Open banking is actually continuously developing. An important role within this field is APIM. It is responsible for the open exchange of financial information, as well as integration and security control. Currently, our main focus is DigiRunner, our APIM. DigiRunner is a product made in Taiwan, developed by ourselves. Using our DigiRunner, you can immediately enjoy the safety and convenience it provides, saving a lot of valuable development time.
TPI Software has delivered many great services. I think this will actually have a strong effect on the future of open banking. This can also be regarded as an incentive for other companies to follow. I think everyone can bring such a technology to the market, and that TPI Software can be the leader of it. I believe this should be of great help to open banking in Taiwan.
At the moment, we are focusing on the finance and medical industries, as well as the public service sector, providing AI conversational service solutions to large enterprises. We have experts from various fields in our team, including journalists, service staff, and language specialists. This allows us to adapt to the needs of the Taiwanese market and make the necessary adjustments. This is the main concept we want to present to the Taiwanese market.
We're most impressed by TPI's SysTalk conversational AI platform. So I think for right now, the SysTalk platform covers 50% of our customer service volume. We continue to actually use more and more of TPI's software services.
More than 140 licenses. The professional team TPI Software has built receives constant recognition from customers, to whom it also brings many awards and benefits. The brand's conversational AI customer service robot was also awarded the Global Research Institute Gartner Cool Vendor Award in 2018. In the gaps of the industry, they have also made substantial contributions to talent and information sharing. To record valuable experiences, we founded TPI University. TPIU is a professional forum for technology sharing, where many of our engineers and PMs share our web technology and other knowledge, such as Java, .NET, or other enterprise software. TPIU has become a platform where people from many industries come to dig for treasures. We also have elite talent training. We directly form our own professional talents and promote the development of technology and corporate culture to give it to newcomers and continue to pass it on.
In order to go international, we focus on three main aspects. The first is media network. The second is digital marketing. We set up TPI University for knowledge sharing, a product portal, and a brand new website. Additionally, we publish a monthly newsletter. With social media, we hope to reach more market and potential customers. The last one is offline marketing. We participate in overseas exhibitions and hope our professional team service will receive the recognition of the market and improve customer adhesion.
We hope to have a chance to be able to bring in all the outstanding talent from Taiwan, as well as all the excellent products, create a diverse culture, and become an international company. We want to take all the great things we are doing and promote them internationally, so that the whole world can see.
Hello everyone, this is Timothy from ECS. ECS is a professional company which making motherboards, mini computers, laptop, and notebook for more than 32 years. In current business, we are facing a huge workload every day. However, there is a very big part is routine and repetitive. Sometimes we may wonder if there's a solution or there's a way can help us to do such lousy jobs and human being can save more time to do more meaningful jobs. Today, with the honor to brought to you by ECS and TPI software with a solution called SysTalk RPA system. First of all, let's welcome my partner and also the speaker for today, Scott Young.
Hello, Timothy. So I'm Scott. I'm from ThinkPower TPI software. So actually, we're a software company for more than 15 years. And then I'm from the department of SysTalk, which is a department focusing on AI and innovative products. So I'm Scott. I'm the product manager in charge of the RPA softwares. Yeah.
Okay, Scott. According to what I just mentioned, there are a lot of jobs in our daily life supposed to be done, able to be done by machines.
Yeah.
Okay, sometimes I really wonder that. So, could you give us more detail about this RPA? As I know, this RPA solution has been proved and certified by Intel RK and also be deployed in the market already. So, give us more detail about RPA, could you?
So, before talking about RPA, we would like to talk about digital transformation. So, Timothy, you just talked about there's still, now it is 21st century, but
Yeah,
there's still lots of jobs which is like just copy and paste.
Good.
Or just go on the website to download the data.
It is.
And then to move it to another spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm.
And then to send it to the certain people.
It
then
is.
maybe a staff might do this kind of boring jobs for hundreds of time or thousands of time a day, right?
Yes,
so
it is.
it's really, I would say, time consuming, a waste of time. And then the people do it will feel really boring or feel really bad.
Yeah, in this kind of digital times and worlds, there is nothing more important about my personal time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Good.
And for the company, it's a waste of money, right?
It is.
It's
it
really
is,
costly,
it
and
is.
then it's waste of a lot of energy, right?
Yes. So, as I know, this solution has been proved by Intel RK, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty amazing, okay? All right, so would you like to give me more detail about what is RPA stand for and what is the detail, what RPA can solve kind of thing for us?
Okay, so I just talk about digital transformation, right? So enterprise would like to bring new technologies to help the people to increase and enhance their productivity and also their efficiency. So we want to bring about AI. So AI, what AI will help you to do? Mainly is about hearing, listening, and then speaking, and read and write, right? So this kind of thing is about understanding and decision making. So for example, when we want to try to understand the words speaking by some certain people, we would like to use a speech-to-text and text-to-speech to understand the verbal or the words spoken by certain people. And then if some people want to chat with you, and you would like to use AI to understand the wordings and then to reply the words to them, and which could be understood by certain people. So we want to use neural language understanding and neural language processing. But with all this, we could still not solve the problem of this kind of lousy and boring copy and paste and repetitive jobs, right? So we still need something. We need a hand to help us to do this kind of boring jobs. So we need RPA. So RPA actually is standard for robotic process automation. It's a first step in digital transformation. Why? Because before introducing artificial intelligence, we would need a lot of budgets, a lot of technology, and also domain knowledge. Without that, it's really hard to introduce or inject our AI into our company. So RPA share the characteristics about now is the cost is not that high, and also the implementation period is really quick. So with that, the enterprise could really enhance their productivity just using RPA. So RPA is about robotic process automation. What is this? It is actually a software which could mimic the human behavior on the software and on the computer. So for example, the type and click on a certain software or a certain website, or to write down something, or to to read or to copy, to get the text from a certain website or a certain software. Okay?
Yeah.
And also, for example, to use Excel, Word, or some other client's software, or to even send emails to certain people. So this kind of things could be automated by this kind of software. So we call this software RPA.
I see. So that's a lot of people say that robotic are going to replace us, right?
Yeah, actually, the thing would be replaced with those kind of boring, lousy, and repetitive jobs. Yeah, so people could do more productive jobs. Yeah.
Good job. I'm happy to hear that still have something I can do by myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you just talk about some many jobs will probably be replaced or to be enhanced by this kind of softwares, right? Okay, so we know that RPA could help us to do this kind of repetitive and loud and boring jobs. But what are exactly the application of RPA, right? So actually, RPA is not limited in certain fields or certain industries. For example, administration for the HRs. So every day there are lots of people onboarding. So there are so many different kind of data, different kind of information to fill in, for example, in the spreadsheet, managed by the human resource. Or they also have to fill in the same data onto their internal ERP system. So keep filling the same data again and again. So we could use RPA to help us, to just automatically just fill in the data. For IT departments, we could use RPA to help us to do the automated testing. So, for example, if we develop a new website, so we want to test whether this website is working or not. So we could use RPA just keep just load in this website and then do tons of test methods. So we could use RPA to help us to just check whether this website is okay or not. And for finance, actually, we know that for finance industries, there are so many different kinds of documents and then forms to fill in. For example, they have to generate financial reports quarterly or yearly or monthly. So there's so many ratios to calculate from different sources. For example, from the spreadsheet, from companies' internal reporting system. So we could use RPA to help us to download the data from the reporting system, and then also to get the data from, for example, share folders, to get those data and then to calculate the data into some certain ratios and then generate a financial report. For customer service, that, for example, if the customer service receive a client increase, so they have to enter those data into their internal tickets or internal system. So for this kind of the same data, they have to key in again and again. So we could use RPA to help us just key in. And for example, like for legal industry, we have some workflows. For example, we will say an AML is anti-money laundering, or KYC, know your customers. So we want to check whether this person has any criminal history or not. So we could use RPA to help us to go to those governmental websites to search the information of this person, to check whether this person is okay or not. So actually, we will say that RPA is not constrained in certain industry, just that if the workflow is repetitive and is structured. So we could use RPA to help us to automate it, okay? So, but through my experience, we have implemented RPA to many enterprises. But the main demands from them are list 3 is mass data entry. For example, to just keep key in the same data from to different kind of system. And then so first of all, we have to retrieve the data from different sources, whether it's from the website, from the client softwares, or from different kind of spreadsheets. We could get the data from those sources and then to key into the same, so to the website, to the internal system, and then, for example, and last to send the data out to the certain personnel. Okay, and then the second is the report generation. So after we get those data, we want to, for example, to apply some formulas to calculate a ratios or calculate a number, and to put it into a report. So we could just use RPA to help us to calculate it, and then to put it in the certain format to generate a report. And then the last is a document processing. So for example, to compare whether the document A and document B is the same or not, whether there's any difference or not. And then, for example, if the document is a image format, we could use other technologies. It's called OCR, which could help us to get the text from the images. So we could use RPA to invoke the OCR to get the text out, and then put those text into, for example, to our spreadsheet, to our Word documents, and then send the data to the certain personnel. So actually, most of the requirements are quite similar. So are this kind of 3 mass data entry and then report generation, document processing. Okay. So so with this kind of RPA software and RPA technologies, we provide 4 kinds of services. First is the RPA license. So we know we have a software to help us to automate the jobs. So using the software to design the workflows and then to just help us to key in or type the data onto the system. And then also if there are some breakpoints for the RPA system, for example, we need to get the text from the certain image, or there are some websites which have a CAPTCHA. CAPTCHA is a skewed or a vague alphabets and numbers. We could use the CAPTCHA recognition technology to help us to break through this kind of breakpoint.
Oh,
okay?
That's really good.
Yeah, and then the most important is the consultation development part.
See.
Right? Now, so even we have this kind of softwares, but we still have to understand the client's requirements or client's demands to help them to plan a good workflows and then to develop into a workable workflow, right? So this kind of consultation and development services is a really important part. And then the last is, of course, it's a software, so we have to run this software on the hardware. So we need a good software, a hardware to help us to do the automation jobs. So Timothy, so we know that RPA needs to be this kind of strong software.
It is.
So we also need for example, a strong hardware to support this kind of software.
Yes,
so
yes.
Could you provide us more information about the hardwares?
Okay. First of all, let's take a look on the screen. It shows the machine's appearance and also the detailed specification. In this solution, we use ECS Leva mini computer, model name D3E+. This is the latest model in ECS Leva family by using Intel 10th generation CPU Core I level from i3 up to i7. And the most important things I would like to highlight is it supports Intel OpenVINO and also MoVideo's card. Since it is powerful, the memory is up to 32 GB and also support GigaLAN. All you need for a computer, USB LAN port display, this mini computer can support without any problems. So actually in real case deployment, most of the customers suffer from space issues. This mini computer just hit the pain point. It's just like 10 by 10 centimeters, 7 centimeters high. Won't occupy too much space and also can hide behind the monitors. So this is very good execution machine for RPA systems.
So, okay. So before talking about how the software works, so we know we have this kind of strong hardware and software, but is this kind of implementation easy? I would say no. Actually,
oh really?
Yeah. Actually, for us, for our experience, so the implementation process we need is actually not really quick. Actually, we have to go through a robust implementation process.
Okay.
So there, it contains about 3 phases. The first is the requirement collection. I will say this part is so important. Why? Because if we don't understand clients' demands, even though we have this kind of workflow developed but it could not really solve the end users issue or end users problem. So
sure,
we have to really understand the end users situation, and then to help them to plan a really good situation.
Good to understand customer pain points is very important. Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So we will go through many meetings to understand their requirements. Okay.
See.
And then actually there are some situations that we don't really need RPA to help us. For example, their IT guys could help them to revise the system, or there are other technologies we could use to help them to enhance their productivity. So in this phase, we will also suggest whether there's any different technology we could combine together, so to help them to really enhance or solve the problem of excessive manpower. Okay, and then the second part is we use the software to help us to develop the workflows. So we just look through the client's requirements and then to design the workflows on the software, on the RPA software. And at the same time, we'll just keep checking with the end user to check whether this kind of workflow is the same as their requirements. Yeah. And then the last phase is the user testing. So after we finish this workflow development, we'll pass this workflow to the end user for them to test whether there's any bugs or not, or is there anything we could revise and then to make it better. So after checking everything is okay, we could deliver this workflow to the end user to let them to really enjoy a more efficient working situation, working environment. Okay. So for the development part, there are also three phases. The first is the design part. So we use the we call it Studio to help us to design the workflows. Actually, for the studios, there is a drag and drop UI. We will see that afterwards. So it's really easy to develop a workflow. And then after the workflow is done by the studio, we could upload to the center. Center is a management website to help us to manage the workflow developed by the studios, and also to manage the execution robots. We call it agents, which is located on the client software, client computer. Okay. So actually, this is our deployment architecture. So first of all, we have to develop the workflows on the studio. Is our development environment, and then after that, we could upload it to the center. Center is a management website to help us to check to assign the workflows, and then also to assign the workflows to the certain robots. We call it agents to execute the automation jobs on the legacy system, on the websites, on different kind of client systems. And then if we want to scale it up, so we could just do the connection onto other devices, onto other robots onto other bots. So it's a fast and really easy mass deployment. Okay. So talking about our softwares. So there we talk about there are three different kinds of softwares. We call it Studio, Center, and Agent. So what is Studio? Studio is a development design and for the workflows. So we have more than 20 automation categories. For example, the Excel, Words, email, or APIs, these kind of different categories. And then among that, there are about more than 200 activities to help us, to automate our jobs. So we could just use drag and drop activity to drag those activities onto our canvas to make it into a workable workflows. Okay, and then after that, we could upload the workflows onto the center. It's a web service. So on that, we could see there's a huge dashboard. We could just know the execution status about the robots. And then also, it could help us to assign the jobs onto the execution robots, and also to schedule the jobs. For example, we could say we want to execute a workflow A at what time, and a certain time, and then onto the certain robots. So we could all do this kind of jobs just on the center. So it's really easy. And then the last is the agent. Actually, I just talk about agent is a software installed on the client's devices. So once the agent receives the task, you will just execute the job immediately. Or at a certain time is the scheduled time, and then if the agent receives the jobs, you will just also execute it. And then one feature about this agent is that we could support the lock mode and the screensaver mode. So we would say if the device is at lock mode, we could still execute the job without logging into it. Okay, so this could say to ensure that the security. So we could make sure that the client's data or client's information won't leak out by some certain people. Yeah. So this is our software structures. Apart from that, so we know that so for the automation jobs, there are still breakpoints. For example, like the images or captchas. So how do we solve this kind of breakpoints? So we cooperate with the OCR software, and also we develop a capture recognition services to help us to break through these kind of breakpoints. So for example, the OCR. So OCR means optical character recognition. It's to help us to understand is there any information contents on the certain image or PDF. So we could use OCR to process a image and then to make the image into text. So to get the text from the image or from the documents. So we know that for a lot of front-end process, there's a lot of scanned documents. So we could use OCR to help us to process those kind of scanned documents or scanned images to help us to get the data out. Yeah. And then apart from that, we talk about the captcha. So many websites, especially some government websites, they contain this kind of captcha to block the robots to use their website. But actually, for this kind of situation, if we cannot break through this kind of captcha, it's still it can not really help us to enhance the end users' productivity. So we develop this kind of captcha recognition services to help us to break through the captcha. So we could look at the videos. So it's a governmental website. So to search whether this ID is valid or not. So you see there's actually a captcha onto their websites, but we could still use our services to break through the captcha. Yeah. So we talk about our technologies, our softwares, but is there any real cases that we implement the RPAs?
Yeah, let's talk about the real cases.
Yeah, actually, in our internal company, we use RPA to help us to do to help the human resource people. So I just talked about at the beginning that there are so many people onboarding every day. So we have only 5 HR to serve more than 400 employees every day. So it's really heavy jobs for them. So you could just look at the videos. Every day, for if there's any new onboarding personnel, they have to fill in the personal data for personal information. It's containing about more than 20 columns, right? So we could see if there's 10 people, there are about more than 20 data to fill in. And then they have to manually copy this kind of data onto the ERP system. So just by imagine, it's really time-consuming and waste of time. So we use RPA to help us to automate this kind of lousy onboarding process. So you could see that it's really troublesome for the HR. So we use this RPA software. We use the studio to design the workflows. And then we press the start to execute the RPA. So you will see that RPA opens a browser automatically and then log in to the system. Okay. After that, we got access to our ERP system. And then we open the data entry tabs. And then you could see from the speed of this kind of keying, we didn't really fast forward. It's just the time that RPA executes.
Wow, this is amazing, huh?
Yeah, it's really fast. So, for example, if before we have to process this kind of jobs for about 2 hours, now we only need 10 minutes. So, it's a really great enhancement on the end users' productivity. Okay. So the next next situation is we using our real estate agency partner, Xinyi Realty. Okay, so what's their challenge? So as for their digital marketing team, so they have to go on to various sites to check whether their marketing is okay or not. So they have to check the cost and then how many people see their advertisements. Okay, so for this situation, we have 9 different platforms and then 11 accounts to log in, and then more than 50 jobs, more than 50 steps to do. So every day they have to spend 30 to 40 minutes just to go onto these platforms to get the data, to get the cost, the data of the cost, and then the data of the advertisement projection data out, and then to make it into a report and send it to the certain personnel. So we use RPA to help us to automate the job. So we could see from the videos is that RPA help us to just log into different systems. For example, Google Analytics, and then to get the data of the cost, and then also the users out from this system, and then go to the Google Ads to get the data out. And then you can see it's just really fast. We could just get the data out really fast. And then after Google is, for example, like Facebook. And then after Facebook, we could see there's tons of data. So RPA could really precisely get the exact data we need. Yeah. So you could see the speed. We do not really fast forward.
I see.
It's a real.
It's amazing.
Time. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really amazing, right? And then also, for example, the Microsoft being advertisements, and also online ads. So actually, these kind of platforms, they all have different layouts.
It is.
So actually, when we design the workflows, we need a really experienced developer to help us, to develop these workflows to
I see.
really enhance the efficiency. So we will see after the execution, a report is sent through the emails. So we could see.
Or even can generate a report.
Yeah,
huh?
and then we could see the data is correctly generated by
I
RPA
see. Wow.
and sent to the certificate.
That's excellent.
Yeah, in a really short time.
See.
Yeah. Okay, so the last use case is we use RPA in the finance industry. Okay, so like if you work in bank or in finance industry, we will know that in the finance industry there's so many different kind of documents and different kind of invoices. So all these kind of invoice they contain different kind of information, and then we might need to fill in the forms with different kind of data from different sources. And then what's worse is that a lot of times the documents and then or the those kind of forms are stored in image formats. So it's hard just for the software to know the information inside those kind of documents. So we have to integrate RPA with the OCR technology, which stands for optical character recognition. So which could help us to get the information and also the text out from those kind of image-based documents. So in this case, we use RPA to trigger the OCR app to understand or to convert the data from those kind of image-based documents. So you could see from the videos on display now is that by using RPA to trigger the OCR apps, and then you could just open that document and then identify the information inside, and then to get those data out from the image-based document, and then to put it into the Excel spreadsheet. So with that, actually, we could really solve this kind of image-based problem, and then to understand the text or the information inside those kind of image. So we could use RPA to really process those kind of image formats documents, and also the traditional text-based documents. So with this, we could really help them to enhance or to solve the problem of repetitive keying, and then to look through the data, the document, and to manually key in the data to the computer. We could help them to solve these kind of problems. So at last, we know that actually RPA, we could integrate this kind of AI technology to integrate with OCR, to integrate with AIs, to integrate with it with we would say capture recognition technologies, right?
Yes.
So it's like we combine the brain with our hands. We could really enhance and save the time of those and front-end users. So really benefit them to let them to do more important jobs. Yeah.
Thank you, Scott, to bring such excellent introduce about RPA system. But there is a question I would like to ask Scott. As you know, there are many countries are many focus on such green power, saving the planet, and also sustainable technologies, because we want to have a fancy advanced technologies to improve our life, but we don't want to harm our planet, our environment.
Yeah.
So Scott, could you tell us, is it RPA related to such regions?
Of course, exactly. Because you know that with RPA, we could really save the manpower on those kind of lousy and repetitive jobs, right?
It is.
So we actually do not need that many people to do those kind of boring jobs. So with RPA, the people could do more important jobs with less time, right? And then those kind of lousy jobs, we could pass it to the computer to let RPA to help us to do it. So that means we don't need that many people. We could use less people. That also means that we don't need that many, for example, AC or papers, right? So we could really, from this point of view, we could save some carbons we don't really need to produce that many components. And at the other hand is that by integrating with the technology of AIs and also OCR, actually we don't really need to print out those documents into papers. Actually, we could just maybe take a shot or scan it or just use any formats in e-formats. So we could use RPA to integrate with the AI technologies to understand those kind of e-formats documents. So we don't really need to print out the papers. So that means we don't need to cut down that many trees and then really save our planets and then save our environment.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Scott, to bring such opinions. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. That's all for introduction RPA for today. Should you have any questions, you are able to leave questions here or send an email to me or Scott. And again, this solution is brought to you by ECS and TPI Software, and this project is brought to you by ITRI. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Leonardo da Vinci, legendary scholar, artist, and inventor. Could he have imagined modern technology running his inventions on a single device? Every day at ECS, we work on a dream to integrate business departments and offer single-stop technology solutions, bringing boundless mobile possibilities, bleeding-edge smart and IoT solutions, and stunning multimedia entertainment to people's lives in the world. Based in Taiwan, with its eyes to the world, ECS provides comprehensive services across major global cities. 3 decades of technology experience, strong financials, a talented workforce, and a constant drive for innovation and design give ECS a solid lead in a competitive global landscape, receiving international recognition and building deeper customer relations. World-leading equipment and capabilities at ECS's Shenzhen plant provide a manufacturing backbone for motherboards, tablets, laptops, mini computers, IoT devices, and more. With large investments in our Thailand location, we push the envelope in R&D, manufacturing, and quality control, providing better services to customers worldwide. Integrating 4 business divisions, ECS stays true to its mission, bringing the future within reach. From this same desire, Levo was born, creating breathing space in work environments. Precision computer components are crucial to new technologies. At ECS, we produce independently and as part of major supply chains. In a world of speed, 5G technology stands to redefine fast. Artificial intelligence changes our lives, bringing smart cities closer into reach. New visual realities surround us. Digital displays expand possibilities. Stores can be more. Screens can be more. Controlling access more intelligently, ECS makes your ambitions safer and smarter. In an era of smart solutions, there are better ways to study. With an eye for a greener future, complete smart resource management solutions make the workplace greener and smarter. Time is precious, yet Earth's resources are finite. With cleaner transportation, we can all contribute. As industries navigate volatile markets, ECS helps businesses achieve distribution with fewer hands and more efficiency. Agriculture closely impacts the environment. ECS's unique agricultural solutions help produce food more ecologically, feeding the future more efficiently. Our advanced cloud architecture is the foundation from which we build. As the web connects everything, it brings together technology and humanity. We help you care for the Earth by making smart more simple, preparing you for the world of tomorrow.